Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm taking you to Caminito del Rey, a popular one-day excursion for tourists visiting the Andalusia region in Spain. We were based in Malaga, so that's where we got on the bus. The guide spoke both in English and Spanish, as you will hear here.
El Chorro is higher up, and we have the temperature is higher than on the coast. We do have toilets just before we check in, but then after that we have 2 hours, two and a half hours that we don't have toilets, or we can't buy water. Yeah, so that's very important. Que hace bastante calor y allá arriba suben unos cuantos grados a lo que tenemos aquí en Málaga, en la costa. Más adelante os explicaré, o igual después me pongo con vosotras tranquilitas y os explico un poquito la razón del Caminito del Rey.
She gave us some basic info about what the trip will look like, repeated some safety information we already got with our ticket. For example, no walking sticks, no flip-flops, which you'll see why soon. And after around an hour on the bus, we got to our first stop, a town of Arabic origin called Ardales, distinguishable by its white houses and mountain village vibes. The main reason people visit is due to its proximity to where we are going, which is the entrance to Caminito del Rey, and it's significantly more chill than the busy coastal towns that are full of tourists. Nonetheless, it was very charming, and we had just enough time for coffee and restroom break, and then my phone overheated. So at this point, we've already arrived quite close to the Caminito, but haven't entered the trail yet. I filmed a ton thinking this was it. However, this part was only the warm-up.
I moved for work, I moved to...
Yeah.
This is what I spend my time I work online.
I've been going the last 3 years, every year I go like...
Yeah.
Come back to the group. I will leave you here on the shade. It's gonna be 5 minutes probably. As quick we can, we use the toilet.
At the entrance, we met a guide who is local to this particular trail, or like a local guide specifically for the trail. We got our helmets and they started briefing us on safety again. By now, I've mentioned safety a few times, so this might be a good time to clarify why. First of all, the name of the place translates to the King's Little Path, and the path follows a river inside a gorge located in El Chorro, which is a small town in the province of Malaga. This path, as you'll see in the video, is in some places literally hanging from the steep walls of the gorge. Now, the safety concerns come from multiple accidents that occurred here. The most dramatic one being when 3 men, who were locals, by the way, from El Chorro, anyway, they tried crossing the gorge by means of a zip line from where we'll be walking to a train line at the other side of the gorge. So they were trying to cross over the river, but you will see the pathway is quite high up, so the fall really is deadly. But the cable that they used for the zip broke under their combined weights, and tragically, all 3 of them died. Along with other deaths, this led to the closure of then dangerous decaying path in 2001, and it was closed for 15 years for, as you can imagine, major repairs before it was reopened in 2015 with this new system, if we can call it that, where you have to wear a helmet. They don't let you wear slippers or carry walking sticks, etc. And at some points of the walk, the guide asks everyone not to stop and to keep moving. I don't know if that's because of weight limitations of the path in those spots or because it's narrow. However, there are spots where she let us stop for quite a while, and she even participated in some group photos. There's tons of footage I cut out. However, I've purposefully made sure to keep the videos of different terrains, as I imagine people will watch this to decide if they should go or not. Some folks in our group were anxious about certain parts, although they said they weren't scared of heights. So that wasn't a problem. Rather, it was the terrain that we walked over. Two particular points were challenging: the bridge, where you actually cross to the other side of the gorge, and some of the narrow, steep stairs, which we will see both in a minute.
But on the 70s, this place got abandoned. So people used to come. Two people died working here. The first one, the
So, the bridge. I saw that a few other YouTube videos called it the most dangerous bridge in the world. And frankly, I think that's exaggerated. However, the tour guide does take extra precaution before the group starts to cross it. First, they ask everyone to put away their phones and cameras as they insist you need both your hands free so that you can hold on to the rails. Second, there's an additional person who stands at one end. You can see him here on this video. I guess he's a professional climber or something of that sort. And then the footage you're seeing of me crossing the bridge is from my Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses. Not sponsored, by the way.
Guys, when we cross, be careful with these steps.
I, of course, had to be the first one to cross it, and I have a picture to prove it. The rest of the path immediately after the bridge was again narrow, and yeah, it didn't feel too dangerous, but you'll definitely want to stay focused, which at that point, it's been a while. Walking, sweating, sun roasting your skin, insects bothering you, phones overheating. So it was getting a bit more difficult. But soon after the bridge, you'll be back on the ground. However, in our case, that's where the sun really got to us. It was really, really hot. But knowing that the end is near, we kept walking until we reached the camp at the bottom. I guess you could call it a camp. At that point, I was too tired to film, so you're just gonna have to trust me. They had restrooms, a few shops, and the little shops had fresh fruits, which was great. We had orange juice and watermelon, which was just heaven. That is all I have for you today. Hope you found it useful. See you in the next video.